All right, guys, on this one, this is assignment number 8, but number 1, we're going to skip that one for right now. Here's the notes that go with it. You're going to choose a variable on either equation to solve for, x or y, right? Now, part of the main thing to do is to choose a smart one. Like when I look at number 2 or I look at number 1, if I got to solve for one of these variables, if I look right here, solving for x is going to take some steps, solving for y will take some steps. But if I look at the second one, it's already solved for x. So I'm already done there. Okay, so I'm going to choose that one. Then we're supposed to solve for the variable, right? You choose one, solve for it. In the second equation, put that variable in parentheses, and then replace the variable with the answer from the first equation, right? So that might not make sense right now, but let's look at what I'm talking about. So if I'm on number 2 and I got 3x minus 7y equals 74, and I got x equals 2y minus 10, that's negative 2y. So I'm choosing which equation, right? So let's label what we're doing. Here's step 1. Choose the equation, I'm choosing the second one. Step 2 says solve for that variable. It's done, right? I got it solved for that variable. Put the answer in parentheses. So I'm going to put this negative 2 all in parentheses. So that's my second step. Third step is in the second equation, put that variable in parentheses. So when I look at the second equation, I'm going to put the x in parentheses. Right? So it should visualize, you should be able to visualize and see what we're trying to do here. Okay? Um, replace the variable with the answer from the first equation. Right? This should have only one variable now. So what are we doing here? We're replacing that variable with the answer from the first equation I picked. Right? It's not the first equation on the paper, it's the first one, the one I picked to solve for x. I solved this for x, and I'm going to plug it in right there. So this is my third step. And I'll rewrite everything the way it is, right? 3 times x minus 7y equals 74. There's that first equation, right? But instead of x, I'm going to put this in there. Okay, so now I'm putting the negative 2y minus 10. Notice this new equation 3 doesn't have x in it. All it has is y. That's good because that means I can solve it. Okay, so we need to solve this equation, solve this new one, and then we'll solve the new equation for y. So I got that right there. Every time you have a parentheses, you got to distribute. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And it's got a y. 3 times negative 10 is negative 30. So I have the minus 7y equals 74. Okay, now the algebra, right? Algebra. I know I'm solving for y, so I don't want this 30 in here, this 30 that's by itself. It doesn't have y, so let's move it to the right side. Let's get rid of it. Plus 30, plus 30. So now this is gone. Now all I have is y's here. So I have negative 6y and negative 7y. We add those together and get negative 13y. Okay, and that equals 104. All right, so now I divide negative 13y, or I mean, divide the negative 13, divide negative 13. All right, if you need a calculator, again, I'll keep telling you, use the Desmos at home. And it just takes a while, right? Let's, man, I gotta move this. Move this to my other, oh, it won't let me move it. All right, so um, negative 13, oh, oh, sorry, this thing threw me way off. It's 104 divided by negative 13. 104 divided by negative 13. Negative 8. Okay? So I got y equals negative 8. That is half my answer. Now what it says is plug your answer into either of the original equations. So I can plug this in wherever I want. I have my y answer. I am going to plug it in. Let's see. I know I have y, so I want x. Which one of these first two equations up here would be easier to solve for x? Well, the one that already is solved for x, right? That's easy. So I take this and I plug it in right there. I'll change the color to make it easy. So now x equals -2 times y minus 10. But now we know y is -8. That's an easy equation to solve. -2 times -8 is positive 16. Positive 16 minus 10 is 6. Right? So my solution or my answer here is going to be 6 comma -8. That's my solution. Okay. We look back at our assignment in class up here in the notes. We wrote down some stuff that would help us, but let me write it down for you guys that are watching on video. That one is 6 -8. You got to remember, we have three things that could happen on all of these problems. Three things that can happen. You could have two lines that cross and intersect at a point, and this point xy is my solution, right? So xy. Here I could have parallel lines. So these should match with your notes. I think it's like page 4. But this was no solution. They never touched. And then we could have a red line and a green line right on top of it. And that one was all real numbers. It's touching at every point. Okay, so we're looking for this when we're doing these problems, but you might get no solution or all real numbers. Either one, like you could get those. But that's what we're looking for when we solve these. All right.